This week's specials for Miles Franklin are 1 ounce 2023 silver Krugerrands only $3.10 over spot, along with backdated 10th ounce gold maples for only $29 over melt. We have weekly discounts, personal service by yours truly, one of, if not the most reputable, trusted company in the United States, and we have the largest inventory of precious metals I've personally ever seen. Once again, that's Slayer at milesfranklin.com. Now let's jump into the video. Alright folks, I put together a very interesting and hopefully beneficial video for you guys and gals today. I've never done something like this, but I feel like it's going to be able to help a lot of you. Now, we are going to be covering an article from the famous author Robert Kiyosaki and why he's mentioning you should be buying gold, silver, and Bitcoin while you still can. But there's another article that we're going to be talking about where Robert Kiyosaki reveals why a 401k is a horrible retirement plan as well. And I know a lot of you have gold and silver and 401ks and Bitcoin, or if not one, you have the other two. So I think this should be a very good video covering someone else's opinion on why one is better than the other. So let's just jump straight into the article. Robert Kiyosaki, buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin while you still can. First off, I'm gonna try not to stop and break off as much as possible. I just want to get through these articles, but I do gotta say one thing that is very important. Just like silver, Bitcoin has only so much. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. That's all. So once all are mined, and I think like 19 million or 20 million are already mined now, so there's only about 1 million Bitcoin left to be found. And once all 21 million are found, that's it. There's not an infinite supply of Bitcoin. And while I was recording that, I actually paused the video and pulled up the exact amount just to prove to you guys I'm not making that up. As of 2024, approximately 19.4 million Bitcoins have been extracted, indicating that more than 92% of the entire available amount is currently in use. This leaves fewer than 2 million Bitcoins yet to be mined. There's only 21 million, like it says right here. That is something that is very important to note of, because just like silver, even though Bitcoin isn't used for the same things as silver, there's scarcity. There's going to be a supply crunch. The people that want it will be able to set the price to those that also want it or need it. Now, we don't need Bitcoin the same way as we do silver, trying to go green for missiles and stuff, but still Bitcoin is universally a very adaptable and accepted currency, especially in this new digital era we're going in. So I feel like he has a good point, even if that's not what he means is while you still can, because there's only so much left. Maybe he's meaning like with price wise while you still can afford it. Regardless, I wanted to throw that statistic in there because a lot of people don't know that almost all the Bitcoin, 92% has already been mined, and there's not an infinite supply like Ethereum. There's billions and billions of Ethereum. Dogecoin, there's like trillions, but Bitcoin, it's only 21 million. Historically, investing in the stock market has yielded reliable returns, particularly investing in the S&P 500, which has proven to be a reliable and rather safe investment that can yield significant gains if held over several decades. We're also going to be checking out this article of why he reveals why a 401k is a horrible retirement plan, but first let's finish this. The initial financial efforts of the pandemic tanked the U.S. economy in 2020, although the stock market made a strong recovery in 2023. The S&P 500 surged to over 24% according to financial expert and Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki. However, now Kiyosaki sounding the alarm about potential financial troubles ahead. Quote, FYI, bank credit just sold off like 2008. Get some cash out of banks as you need cash. This may be the start of the biggest crash in history. Hope I am wrong, yet no time to play Russian roulette with your life, end quote. Kiyosaki explained in a recent tweet from December 10th, 2023. In another tweet, which I'm about to actually show, Kiyosaki furthered his point by referring to predictions from his book which later came true and reiterated the imminent crash of the S&P 500, quote, savers are losers, and, quote, your home is not an asset, which came true in 2008. People are still laughing at those 1997 predictions. Watch for my next warning. The S&P is next, which will toast millions of 401ks and IRAs. Take care, end quote. So let's actually click on that exact tweet because it's much longer than that. Want to thank Smart Silver Stacker for laughing at me for recommending people buy and save silver since 2010. It's not easy being Paul Revere or Chicken Little warning people that the U.S. government is stealing our wealth and via our money. And that's actually a good point. You know, when especially someone like him, such a public figure, to come out and say stuff like this is insane. Like his YouTube channel has millions of subscribers, and that book is so popular for him to put himself out there. It's, you know, you got to give him credit for that, especially with him being so closely associated with Trump. He's written 3 different books with Donald Trump, like 3, at least 3 books he's published with Donald Trump, just them 2 together. And you know, he's you know, that type of stuff is, especially when you're exposing a corrupt system with talking about the U.S. government, it could be pretty dangerous. Someone like me, not so much, but someone like him, yeah. But anyways, he says, yet laugh all you want, it's not too late. Our banking system is bankrupt. Buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin while you still can. Then your friends and family will laugh at you the same way Smart Silver Stacker laughs at me. Take care. By the way, if you could find me on Wolf Blitzer's program on CNN, I am on Wolf's program calling for the crash of Lehman Brothers in 2008 before it crashed. Wolf laughed at that. 2023, I'm on Neil Cavuto's show on Fox Business calling for the crash of banking giant Credit Suisse, which did the possibility of UBS, United Banking of Switzerland, possibly crashing next. Laugh all you want in a global banking crisis. Please remember my warning in Rich Dad Poor Dad, published in 1997, predicting savers are losers and your home is not an asset, which came true in 2008. People are still laughing at those 1997 predictions. Watch out for my next warning. S&P is next, which will toast millions of 401ks and IRAs. Take care. Great points, though. I mean, spot on. People are going to laugh that don't understand. People dogged my channel back in 2016 when I was urging people to buy Bitcoin at $800. My channel, from a silver stacking channel's perspective, they kicked me out of the silver community. They were like, Slayer, he went the Bitcoin route. No, I didn't. I was still making silver videos. It was just that a core silver stacking channel to even recommend Bitcoin, that was against the rules. And they literally, like, I had so much hate on my channel, and I had to make a second channel called Crypto Slayer, teaching people how to buy Bitcoin back then. Because, like, I didn't want to, you know, I felt it would be a better way to separate both channels, especially because some people just want silver stuff. But a lot of people gave me hate for that back then, you know, but I made a lot of people a lot of money telling them that. Regardless, it's not about me. It's just the point is that when you are someone at the forefront saying something that goes against the grain, you're going to have people that are going to laugh at you and call you out, but you have to look at things realistically. And what he's saying not only is right, but it makes sense when you do even an ounce of research into it. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that, you know, he mentions that and that it has came true. And that book was written in 1997. So here are some gold and silver trends. According to the WGC, or World Gold Council, the price of gold is approximately $37.44 an ounce in January 1971. Fast forward to today, gold is valued at approximately $2,333.55 as of April 30th. That's a 6,132% increase over 53 years. And then silver's also done about the same thing. Silver's price was $1.55 in 1971. Fast forward to today, silver's $26.40 as of April 30th. That's an increase of 1,603% over 53 years. So, you know, it's you're gonna, you know, when you're investing into things that make sense, you have to be patient. But the worst part, I think, for silver stackers is they're not patient enough because they're investing into silver and gold the same way with the same mindset as crypto. Gold and silver are not crypto. They're 2 completely different things to invest in. That's why you could do both. You could take the profits from crypto and then reinvest back into precious metals, which I know a lot of people do actually. So, including myself. So, financial expert, and this is the one talking about the 401k being a horrible retirement plan. I know some people this might strike the wrong way. Just remember, sometimes the truth hurts, and I'm not saying that he's correct in all this. You know, I don't want to make a video where someone all of a sudden goes into a full-blown panic attack, having a midlife crisis because someone said the 401k is a bad retirement plan. That's all they have. Like, I don't want to be that person. I'm just saying, you know, just be optimistic about some of this stuff. Robert Kiyosaki's very blunt about it, which I respect him for. But just do research and look into this stuff and think for yourself. Financial expert Robert Kiyosaki, famed author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, holds an opinion that may seem unpopular. The opinion in question, the 401k is a horrible retirement plan. Why does the most popular retirement plan in America seem to be such a bad idea, according to Kiyosaki, question mark. I was actually on Robert Kiyosaki's podcast, The Rich Dad Radio Show, a couple of years ago, and I was talking about silver. If you guys want to watch that episode, it's titled The Number One Asset Everyone Can Afford. So if you guys want to check me out, me and Robert have a conversation. It was a lot of fun. So anyways, in addition to a myriad of mistakes you can say or you can make with your 401k plan has its own sets of drawbacks, making it unsuitable for many. Read on to see the biggest of these drawbacks per Kiyosaki's team at Rich Dad Blog. High fees and low control. The unfortunate truth is that 401k plans come with high management fees. This eats into your earnings in the long run. These fees are oftentimes hidden among legal jargon, according to the Rich Dad team. Fees can be, but aren't limited to transaction fees, legal fees, and bookkeeping fees. Mutual funds often also take a percentage, usually 2% of your investment. Additionally, you have limited control over your money when it is invested into a 401k. That was the biggest red flag for me. I like being in complete control when I want, especially when I already don't trust banks and governments. And if there was a situation to occur, I want to have access instantaneously. Some people, it depends on how you view the economy or where you think the world's headed. If you don't think that there could be a black swan event and all of a sudden we're sitting in a situation, not talking like pure apocalypse, doomsday, SHTF survival zombies, but even if there was a situation where there's like a shutdown or something along those lines and banks are closed or the power grid goes down, which is very possible with an EMP attack, which would take weeks for the power grid to come back online if China did something like that. Some people think the weather balloon that they did was for that, to see how high it could go up in the air, to see without the U.S. being able to. Regardless, I don't want to bust out my tinfoil hat, but I'm just saying that some people don't like that part about a 401k is because you have limited control. Precious metals is full control. When you took that fake money and put it into real money, you are in complete control. It's up to you whether you want to bury it 2 feet in your backyard or put it in a safety deposit box or put it in a storage vault or put it in a shoebox underneath your bed, which is a terrible idea, but it's up to you completely. It isn't directly managed by you, and you are limited on what you can invest in. You also do not have immediate access to your money without paying fees. There's also no insurance on 401k plans, meaning your retirement account is toast in the event of a market crash. That's the biggest red flag, is you're reliant on a lasting market. Lastly, Uncle Sam limits how much you can invest. The contribution limits are set by the IRS annually, and for 2024, recently been announced to be $23,000 a year. If you want to contribute more than that, you'll have to pay taxes and penalties. Tax disadvantages of 401k plans. Another issue surrounding 401k plans come down to taxes. 401ks are taxed at higher earned income rates as opposed to lower capital gains rates. You will find yourself paying capital gains taxes on other types of investments such as real estate and regular growth accounts. So why the difference with 401ks? This is all thanks to the 1978 Revenue Act that granted workers the access to delay taxes until they withdrew their funds from their plan, typically at retirement. According to the Rich Dad staff, 1978 Revenue Act was originally created for pension funds, where the company is directly responsible for paying you out of a fund where you've paid into. Contributions to pensions were considered to be equivalent to cash. The problem is that, in current times, strong pensions are relatively rare. Then you have false security of employer match. According to Kiyosaki's team, there is a misconception of the employer match being a benefit. According to the Rich Dad staff, this is simply an illusion of additional income. If you didn't have a 401k, your employer would still be expected to pay you the equivalent of the match. The employer is also only obligated to pay the match if you opt in. Lastly, due to vesting schedules, it's possible the employer won't even have to pay the match at all. If an employee leaves before they are vested, the employer contributions are not paid to the employee, which is, that's the scary part. A lot of gray area. I mean, I've had problems with employers in the past where I leave early or something along those lines, and they won't pay up to the last day or a week or whatever, and then you have to get into that type of stuff. And then especially if you're involving a 401k in this, it could be messy. And then also, they probably won't let you know that you have to opt in if they're not obligated to, or it just is messy waters, right? I understand why he would go this route and say that this is a horrible retirement plan. I'm sure it works for a lot of people. I'm sure it has worked for a lot of people, but I'm not saying it works for all people, and I'm not saying it's the best route, and that's what he's saying. I'm sure it could work for you, but we're just saying it's not the wisest route to go. There's better routes. See what I'm saying? Not saying that if you have a 401k, you are going to fail. No. All he's saying is these are some reasons why there's better options out there. His better options are gold, silver, and Bitcoin, and for all different reasons. Gold is a perfect, safe storage. Just put your money in it. You could store $10,000 of gold within a palm of your hand. $10,000 of silver is a shoebox, right? Where silver has options to potentially rise in value much further beyond gold, especially for silver's uses as an industrial metal. Bitcoin has this decentralized digital benefit to it, where there's no Bitcoin there's no Bitcoin of America, there's no Bitcoin of China. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Plus, there's no Bitcoin police. It's decentralized, and it's on a decentralized system, and there's only 21 million. That's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. He's not saying gold, silver, and Ethereum, or he's not saying gold, silver, and crypto. He's saying Bitcoin for a reason, and I'm sure it's for the same reasons I only invest into Bitcoin too. I don't touch anything else. Bitcoin. Why? Because there's only 21 million Bitcoin, and 19.2 are already mined, and Bitcoin is the most popular and by far the most scarce. That's why. I'm sure others might have lower transaction fees or something, some random like altcoin you never heard of, or some meme coin or something. I don't want anything to do with that, because people are going to pump and dump that thing. Just buy Bitcoin. Just like with gold and silver, some people, I guess you could do copper or platinum or palladium or something else, and it might work. I'm sure some people do. I mean, Ethereum has some potential and has opportunity, like the Ethereum blockchain, and how you can create so many things from Ethereum where you can't really do that with Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, I try to keep it simple. If I started getting into all these other things, I would overwhelm myself. It would drive me crazy, right? I like to keep things very straight to the point. Don't overthink it. Just what makes sense, and that's it. Because if you start trying to go down a whole bunch of different routes, you start to lose track of where you're at or why you even started doing it in the first place, which is also why I sometimes say I have to get back to the basics, because I'll start branching off and start investing into all these semi-numismatic high premium coins, and I'm like, wait, I'm investing in a silver because of the metal content, because it's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, light sensitivity. But so why am I buying some expensive coin when I could have bought 4 ounces of silver instead of one coin, when it's the metal content, the silver, I'm supposed to be stacking it for weight? Why am I doing this? And that's because I start branching out and I start getting distracted. Now you can always balance that. There's a balancing act, and there is some benefit of why you should buy or could buy some of these semi-numismatic coins. For instance, the design changes yearly. They're more rare, lower mintage numbers, sets and series can be more collectible and drive higher prices that are detached from spot price, which can benefit in the longer term. But when you go back to the basics, the meat and potato, the core, we're investing into silver. So get as much of it as you can for as cheap as possible. Anyways, he's a smart dude, of course, and I love his work, and I agree with everything he's saying here. And everything he's saying is exactly the 3 things that I only invest in myself as well: gold, silver, and Bitcoin. The only 3 things you need. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Boom, you're in complete control. They all three have their own separate benefits, and it's it. I mean, it's literally the smartest, just most sensible way to go. Don't overcomplicate it. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, remember Slayer at MilesFranklin.com. If you wanted to purchase anything, I will hook you guys up. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.